Oh, it's 1:58 actually. Hi everyone, welcome to the live post game recap of this. What the hell was that?
It was a
28-27
choke
loss.
special.
Say what?
It was a choke special.
Woof. I mean, this was crazy. This was a game where the Dolphins were like begging to lose the whole time. Then they get two big breaks. All of a sudden, not only are they going to win, they're going to cover the 13.5 point spread up 27-13. And all of a sudden, what the hell happened to the defense? I mean, talk about a massive collapse. And then the offense, the last two possessions, 3 and out the first time, nursing that 27-21 lead, and that final drive needing a field goal to win, no timeouts, but there was a minute 49, which is a decent amount of time, but everything's in the middle of the field and 5 yards down. Oh my! You're kind of speechless, aren't you?
No, I'm. Unfortunately, I thought this was something that was in the past, where you're waiting for that's so Dolphins moment. It was a complete and utter collapse on a game that the Tennessee Titans had basically gift wrapped you. And if you had taken care of business and were able to finish off drives, maybe didn't fumble the ball on the first drive, in goal line territory, taking care of business in the closing minutes, played good defense, which they've generally played most of this season, especially protecting a lead. Maybe not played good defense on that 2-point conversion. You could have walked away with a victory, but instead, this has got to be a crushing reality check loss. I talk about it all the time that anybody can get you on any given Sunday in the NFL, and Mondays are included. And sometimes it just takes one injury to kind of impact the complexity or the look of a team. And they certainly didn't look like themselves today. And I don't even want to blame it on the fact that Tyreek Hill wasn't healthy or wasn't there on a consistent basis. I don't want to blame it on the fact that they lost Connor Williams to a knee injury. They just did not look in sync. I mean, that for the final offensive play to be a sack on Tua, that's just not good enough.
Well, third down swing pass, that also wasn't good enough. The play calling on the last drive before that, run with Mostert. And this is where I think, Omar, you had talked about it, and I guess you're going to throw it, and it's valid that the Dolphins were missing 3 starting offensive linemen at the time, but you talk about closing out games with your running game, and that wasn't it.
3, 4.
Well, if you count, I always forget Isaiah Wynn. Sorry, Isaiah. I don't mean any disrespect. I always forget him.
Yeah, we talk about teams like the Giants having to play with, and the Jets having to play with one starter on their offensive line. Well, Miami finally reached that point where one starter is on your offensive line, and that's Austin Jackson.
But they were running the ball well for good chunks of it in the second half. They wound up with like 160 yards rushing.
Both, I believe 90 of it came more than 100 of it came in the first half. I think.
Second half.
Huh? No, first half. I believe they had either 90 or 100 yards in the first half. I'll look it up right now.
But here's the thing, though. Again, if we're going to use the premise of it's difficult, why is my laptop doing this to me all the time? If difficult to close out the game with the running game when you're missing so many offensive starters on the offensive line, then throw the ball.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, but because it was like I don't remember the third down play on the first of those 2 drives. But the second down play was a pitch to Mostert who went right back up the middle when there was absolutely nothing there. There was almost like as a play to run out the clock. And then Bradley Chubb, who was around Will Levis the entire night, didn't get him for a sack, but throwing your helmet in frustration at the end of a play while you're still on the playing surface. I mean, dude, you got to know better than that. Come on. That's an automatic flag. Wait until you're on the sideline to throw your helmet in frustration.
I can't remember if that drive led to points for them.
Dude, it was
Yeah.
It was 3rd and 10. Chubb had the sack that would have knocked Tennessee out of field goal range. Levis, props to him, made a great move to duck under him, gained 5 yards. So now it's 4th and 5. Tennessee's not going for it. They're kicking the field goal, 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct, and that's the drive that ended with a Derrick Henry touchdown off the Wildcat. That's 4 points you just gave him right there.
Teams have these kind of losses every season. The soul crushing, we beat ourselves loss, and I know that's going to be the tone and the sentiment in that locker room. And there are so many things that they did to really shoot themselves in the foot. These are the losses that kind of define who you are as a team in terms of how you respond to it. And right now, this offensive line play isn't good enough. The offense minus Tyreek isn't good enough. Tua's performance wasn't good enough. I think the defensive play wasn't good enough. Xavier Howard's performance wasn't good enough. And I think it's one of those soul-searching opportunities where you kind of figure out what you want to be and who you want to be.
Yeah, and I noticed there was one play, and the key play of the final drives, that 36-yard connection from Levis, good-looking rookie, by the way, to DeAndre Hopkins. But what's the defensive scheme right there? You're asking Jalen Ramsey to like run across the field with him? I mean,
yeah, no,
assignment.
That was a zone call, and clearly
Ramsey chased him across the field. So I don't even, are we sure it was a zone call?
Yeah, I mean, you have to release your man at some point. But yeah,
No, but he was wide. It's DeAndre Hopkins, and he was wide open, left alone to run across the field. Boom, 36 yards, and right then and there, it's like, oh boy.
Hopkins finished the game with 7 catches for 124 yards.
Yep.
And 1 touchdown. Oof.
It was him and Spears that killed the Dolphins in that final drive.
Yeah, Spears contributed 118 yards. Total yards, 29 rushing off 7 carries, and then he caught 6 passes for 89 yards. Ooh, this might be one of the first times the Dolphins got outgained yardage wise. 403 to 366.
Yeah, no, it's been a while.
Offense just did not look in sync at all.
No, and I was always, I always said there. Yeah, obviously, I'm going to have to take an L because I thought this was a game the Dolphins easily would handle, and partly because, generally speaking, they can always count on 1 or 2, big plays from Tyreek. They couldn't get those today. They got I think 26 yards might have been the longest one. But obviously, not having him in the game impacts the Dolphins big time. Also, I'm not counting on Connor Williams leaving the game when you're already without Teron Armstead. And I actually thought the Dolphins were in a mode right now, playing well enough that they were almost immune to this kind of performance.
Yeah, they can overcome those. They would have somebody elevate themselves, and that's what we've seen all season. Put the team on their back. I thought it would have been in defense in that critical drive, but Will Levis, very good quarterback, very intriguing quarterback, put his team on his back, and DeAndre Hopkins unstoppable today, or at least very clear that he's an elite receiver type performance. And Miami didn't have any answers for it. Miami, I would have sworn to you the game was over.
27-13. Yeah, I mean, man, I almost put out a tweet like, here we go. Dolphins were like, in a massive struggle the entire game. Now they're not only going to win, they're going to cover. And then,
man, yeah,
put out the tweet would have been one of those freezing cold takes. But this is a bad loss. Before you shake your head telling me no, it's a bad loss.
Is there good losses?
Yeah, there are good losses. The KC loss was a good loss to me.
Okay, I'll accept that.
This one is a game that, excuse my language, you pissed away. You didn't close it out. and you lost your starting center on top of everything else.
Considering, I mean, there were so many injuries. This was one of those games where bodies were flying, and you could have lost more than your starting center. So I think the Dolphins should be thankful and fortunate that that's all that they lost. But the nature of the loss, how the team performed, how Tua performed, got to do better. Got to be better if you want to be the team that you have the potential to be. And let's see how it defines them. Let's see how it forges them into, because everybody was, including us. Yeah, you got to get to 11 wins. These are your two layups here. This is your opportunity, window of opportunity at home. You've won 17 of 19 games at home.
Yeah. No, and as they mentioned all the time on the broadcast tonight, Tennessee hadn't won on the road all year. Dolphins hadn't lost at home all year. By the way, Tennessee had not scored more than 16 points in any road games this season in their previous 6. And it's not, and this was strictly Will Levis because the Dolphins completely shut down Derrick Henry. He scored 2 touchdowns, but they were from close range. He probably didn't average 3 yards a carry.
2 yards per carry. That was.
They completely shut him down. But okay, do we want to let's tackle some of these comments, questions?
Absolutely.
Kyle, thank you, Kyle. This was the most incompetent play I've seen from them in the past 2 seasons. I mean, the hope I had for Super Bowl aspirations is gone. Terrible or game. Don't know what that means, the last part. No, I don't know that I would say Super Bowl aspirations are gone.
Nah.
I think that's might be too much of an overreaction.
I mean, these are fans. They're going to overreact.
No, correct.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I think I got a little bit swept up in looking at them and how my whole thing was always, let me see how they do in that 3-game stretch at the end. I'm shocked that they lost before they got to 11-3.
They clearly did not have the mental fortitude or makeup, even though this game was at home, to take care of business, and that's troubling. That's disturbing. That's something that clearly has to be addressed, looked at, because it was unacceptable the way they finished the game, and it wasn't like Tennessee was gift wrapping you the win, because they gave you 2 turnovers, one on special teams, one on defense, that allowed you to build a big lead, and here you go, you squander it and have opportunities to sort of seal the game up or give yourself a better footing. Didn't manage.
Want to read the question, or you want me to read it since you're
Bradley Chubb alone cost us 4 points. Inexcusable. On what the literal FUK is abrupt movement. Only the Dolphins. What did I miss about abrupt movement?
Zach Sealer getting called for a defensive delay game because him and Christian moved sideways at the line, and that got a Tennessee wide receiver to move forward. They were going to call false start, I guess, and then they talked about it. And I do believe it's in the rule book. You're not allowed as a defensive lineman to make a sort of trickery motion to induce a false start. That's your abrupt movement there.
I must have been writing the story when this was happening.
I was writing to it frantically at the end. That's why we started a little bit late on if Omar mentioned it. I don't think he did. I was writing a game story, which I had to rewrite at the last second there. Johnny Pope.
Oh, I'm sorry. I took it away. My bad.
Let me see if I can bring it back. Here we go. Johnny Pope, you can never ever win a Super Bowl with a quarterback that panics in the clutch, falling down for no reason. That's called panic. Why can't people just admit that?
I don't know if he's falling down in a clutch for no reason. I think he's trained to know how to fall when he feels pressure so that he doesn't take tough hits. Do I think that he delivered in the clutch moments today? Absolutely not. And this is probably game number 3 where he did not deliver in clutch, counting Philadelphia, counting Kansas City, and now Tennessee. It is what it is. He's got to play better in order for this team to get to where they want to get to. And I think Tua would be the first to tell you he's not satisfied with performance that he put together today.
Okay, let's go one here. Yeah. No team has blown this kind of lead in 3 minutes. Dolphin nightmare that never goes away.
Yeah. What is this the That's So Dolphins moment of the season?
Oh, it is. Dude, are you saying? Oh, absolutely.
I'm just asking. I mean,
No.
yeah.
I mean, it's not quite as bad, but losing 27-13 when you're up 27-13 with 3 minutes left is kind of sort of like losing when you're up 30-7 at the start of the fourth quarter. Kind of, sort of. It's in the same ballpark.
Let's get to this one. Matteo asks, you guys watch this team closely. Why does McDaniel team always seem to fall flat when things don't go to plan? Or am I just imagining that? I think that's a kind of a figment of your imagination.
Yeah. And what does don't go to plan mean by exactly, though?
I think the whole game never goes to plan in terms of how you exactly planned it out that it was going to happen. I wanted to see how Tua responded in that final minute and 47 seconds. And was I satisfied with the play calling? No. I think that they can do so much better, so much more. So I can criticize Mike McDaniel for that final stretch of play calling. I could criticize him for the abandonment of the run game. When he went to the I formation on that Raheem Mostert touchdown, I was like, man, finally you get it. Like, this team can finish the game pounding people, but obviously they tried on that final possession and it didn't work. So,
Alex, I love how Tua is the scapegoat for the defense completely failing us. How about the whole team failed us? If that's who.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna have to put the loss on somebody, I'm gonna have to put the loss on the defense, because the offense, I know Chubb delivered the turnover, but and in fact, Zach Sealer gave them 7 points.
Big 6.
Maybe I do have to put this loss on Tua, because you should be able to score more points than that.
Well, not only that, and if you do, as far as not putting it entirely in the defense, because they did squander those 2 late touchdowns. The Dolphins' last 2 offensive possessions was a 3 and out when you could have run out the clock to win, and the last possession you needed a field goal, and you had a minute 49, which is plenty of time. See Mahomes, Patrick, who needed 13 seconds, although he did have a timeout. Dolphins didn't, but a minute 49, you don't get into field goal position when you have the number 1 offense in the NFL. Sorry, that's a failure.
Yeah, David Nastal says Nastali.
Yep.
Hard Knocks will be fun tomorrow. I have to agree. I'm sure there's killing themselves right now. This is probably going to be a 8-hour edit session, 8-hour install session to kind of paint a 10-minute story about what happened in that game and the after effects. That the speech to Mike McDaniels, I got to see it. A speech to his team, got to see it. Got to see it. Like, how they handled adversity. Want to see Tua, whether Tua beats himself up about this. Offensive line issues, I got to see it. Got to see all of it. That's the value of having Hard Knocks. You're not just going to see the good, you're also going to see the bad.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Wow.
Oh,
sorry. Super Maggio asked, did tonight confirm the offensive line is finesse?
No, the offense.
The offense is finesse. No. I think Tennessee falls into that physical category, right up there with Baltimore and San Fran in terms of what they can do and how they play. They're a punch you in the mouth team. So did the Dolphins ideally respond? Well, they ran for 160 yards. So clearly they handled some semblance of physicality. I just don't
They
think
say
that.
to me, and they do it outside. So that's
What'd
why
you say?
even their running game is a finesse running game. It's based on speed and deception more so than it is on pure power. And that's why I've said that all along.
When they scored with Raheem Mostert, they scored running out of the I formation. That wasn't just finesse, but you are what people think you are until you prove otherwise. And if people want to say they're a finesse team, well, it's hard for them to argue it.
Brian, Omar, Tua craps his pants in the big moments. Poop, I don't think you need the rest of the season to say Tua ain't it. Love you all. Help with Finn's depression. Tua non, come at me, LOL. Brian,
Yeah.
I've been consistent in saying I need the totality of the evidence before I render my verdict. I don't want to start when he lights it up against Washington or another team. I don't want to be. I'm not the one to be like, oh, go easy on the crowning him. And then when something like tonight happens, again, it's the overall work. If he has 3 more good games in December, that's good stuff.
What I found troubling about this loss, and we could talk about Tua all along, and I think this loss or this performance kind of indicates who is this team's MVP, because Tua didn't look. Yeah, he had offensive line issues, but he clearly wasn't good enough in his performance.
Not allowing their opposing team's offense to get that opportunity to go down and potentially score.
I'm watching him.
Team sport. You can't blame one side, but I would say from an offensive standpoint, there's things that we could have done a lot better to not have gone through what we've gone through tonight. What do you think? I know Tyreek was in and out of the game with the ankle.
Okay, let me read some more of these. We can't be doing this.
Yeah.
Over here, Omar, people can get this somewhere else if they want.
Yeah.
Bobby Kohu was abused all night. Clock management was trash. Why does it take so long to get a playoff? There were time management issues tonight, which we haven't seen all year, which were there last year. Why? Not exactly sure. But they caused a problem. The Dolphins were down to 1 timeout at one point very early in the second half because they couldn't get plays in. And they had a challenge, a failed challenge. So
you make a very valid point, and I didn't think about that, factoring in reasons why they lost or reasons why they didn't have any timeouts. Very, very valid point.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I don't want to blame it on not having timeouts, because a minute 49 is long enough. You cannot be completing 4 passes in the middle of the field, though. That's in a 2-minute drill. If you're going to throw it on the middle of the field, it better be downfield like 15, 20 yards, not 5 to 10 yards. And there was too much of that.
I usually do this this thing where I factor in 3 reasons why they lost. What's your 3 reasons why they lost?
Defensive collapse, way. I mean, it's defensive collapse at the end, and an insanely too easy first touchdown drive, the one that made it 27-21. Offense completely gagged down the stretch, and not having Tyreek.
Mm-hmm. I would put it on a Tyreek-less offense. Looked inefficient. Offensive line, absolutely troubling performance today. And then clearly the defensive collapse. That totally took me by surprise. The last question basically talked about Kelhu getting picked on. And when you see, I got to ask Teron Davenport this, because I really don't know. How often is DeAndre Hopkins in the slot position? Because seemingly he was in the slot, I would guess, probably about 60% of this game. And that to me is if that's what teams are going to do to try to attack Miami secondary.
Makes sense.
We might need to start thinking about shadowing a guy, because it's too easy to kind of attack your weakest player in the secondary. No,
absolutely, and it makes sense for teams to do that because they generally don't want any part of Ramsey or X, who gave up a couple of passes, but he also, the long one he gave up to Hopkins in the first half.
Yeah,
as your buddy Louis Riddick pointed out, Hopkins is kind of dragging him down by the arm while making the catch. And they didn't call it, and that's going to happen. And
yeah, defenders know they basically gotta get mugged on camera for them to call those kind of plays.
I want to recognize this one, but I don't know there's much to say here. Jordan, thank you. If your whole team has to be perfect for your QB to succeed, do you really have the right QB?
Wow.
I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
That's totally disrespectful because I don't think the whole team has to be perfect. But I can understand where people come from with that.
Right. This is not on a night like tonight. Yeah, it's kind of easy to say that. So again, for me, still going to wait, reserve judgment until all of the evidence is in, and it's not in yet. But this is why I have said, if I'm me, and I know Omar's is saying it's a done deal, forget about it, it's going to happen. If it's me, I need to see more evidence of good stuff before the end of the season, before I shell out big bucks and make a long-term commitment to the quarterback.
It is what it is, brother. Check's going to be written.
You've said that. I know.
No,
I do know that. I mean, they have dived all in head first, regardless of the depth of the water in their commitment. Is that a good analogy?
It's a solid one. Man, just wasn't good enough. And his performance wasn't good enough. Now, how much pressure was in his face? I don't want to make excuses for him or for the team because play calling wasn't good enough. Commitment to the run wasn't there. Clearly, the defensive performance wasn't good enough, but you got to expect a better performance and a cleaner performance from Tua, even when he doesn't have Tyreek. And I think at this point, if we're going to keep Robbie Chosen here or around because he allows the offense to stay the same, because it certainly didn't look the same when Tyreek went down.
And this is why I want to address, because Ohio John is that question just right, that I'm most shocked at how this offense gets stuck without Tyreek. I understand what he means to the offense, and I want to take this one. What he means to the offense, but I thought we had enough speed to go around to gain the opposing defense's respect. Here's the thing is, there are tons of fast players in the NFL. The Dolphins have a lot of those. There's one Tyreek. And this is what I've been like banging my head trying to say for the longest time. The dude is different. There is nobody who impacts the game the way he does. And you lose him, he's out of your formation. I know there was another game where he missed like a drive or whatever, and the Dolphins were right down the field, and there were some fans who were very quick to say, "Hey, here you go. No, we don't. It can work without him." It's not going to be the same. Again, you cannot, beyond his stats, you cannot measure the impact that guy has in the way he opens the field for everybody. That's just a fact.
Yeah. I saw Waddle in his role a little bit, and it just didn't look the same. And I'm not ready to hit the abort button on everything and everyone. If we're gonna have Chosen around,
are we back to Chosen? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, because he's around because he's got the speed. Like River Craycraft got speed. Does Cedric Wilson have speed? Does
Cedric Wilson made a hell of a catch, which actually probably wasn't.
He did make a hell of a catch.
Actually, probably wasn't a catch, but the Titans weren't quick enough to challenge it. If you look at the replay,
yeah, I see it.
He got tangled, and his second foot is the foot that he came down on first, wound up going out of bounds before his second foot went down.
Oh man, this is
go for it. You get one to put up.
Yeah. LFP. See, this is what I love about Dolphin fans and their knee-jerk reaction to losses, because that's absolutely what this is. I'm sorry I lost all faith in Tua and Mike McDaniel. Same issues last year, and this year Mike McDaniel doesn't have it, and Tua's arm isn't good enough. This is a team that we were talking about winning 12 to 13 games earlier this season. They still have the potential to win 12 to 13 games, still have the potential to be the number one seed. These things happen. Every team. You think Baltimore doesn't feel lucky and fortunate that they pulled off an overtime victory? Who got beat by the Browns yesterday? Was it Jacksonville?
Jacksonville.
Yeah. These things happen, man.
And Tua's arm was plenty good enough to throw for 460 yards against Baltimore last year, or whatever he got against the Chargers in the opener this year. For what the Dolphins ask him to do, and Tua's arm is strong enough to connect with Tyreek Hill over the top on a consistent basis. That's and as somebody who's been accused of always poo-pooing on the dude, that's not in play at this particular moment. That's not the issue here.
Noel B1 makes a very good point. Maybe they started to prevent defense a bit too early. Well, their whole defensive scheme is prevent defense with 4-man pressure. I'm not going to knock what they did. I think Fangio's earned his credibility. I just think it was bad execution on their part.
I think Mickey found the problem here. We need cornrow do-rag Tua back. That dude was a vibe. Today had the poofy hair. That was a difference. I think you may be onto something there, Mickey. Sorry.
Thomas asked, what happened to the pass rush at the end of the game? Where was Van Ginkel? I think they did a very masterful job of.
They were there the whole night.
Yeah, but how much did they close? How much did they deliver?
No, they didn't close. They didn't get that many sacks. But Bradley Chubb, like I said, he was in Levis's grill the entire night. You just could never get him. Wilkins had 1 sack on the 3rd down. Gink had a pretty quiet night. He made a couple of nice plays early on, and he was pretty quiet down the stretch. Something made you laugh.
Scummy. Poop has been vindicated to his garbage. That is not accurate, fair, responsible, reasonable.
He's not garbage. I'm not, nor did I ever say he was garbage. So
yes, and you're not seeking vindication.
Nope.
You said what you said.
Exactly, but I'm not seeking vindication. Was I going to say? Oh, point to make about Tyreek. If I'm playing amateur doctor here from television, seemed to me like a high ankle sprain. Tried to play on it. I'm going to guess that thing was taped up like a madman. I might be like a hair concerned. He might not play against the Jets on Sunday.
Oh, Cheetah don't get hurt.
Well, Cheetah wasn't on the field at the end of the game, was he?
No, he was on the field for the sack play.
Which sack play? The last play. You sure?
I believe so. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I believe so. Like I remember him getting back on the field in the final drive. You're making me doubt myself now, but yeah.
I like this one. Due to poop not burying Tua is now an honorary member of Tua on for the day.
Nah, he can't get honorary status. Nah. Listen, it is. Are we really putting that loss on Tua? I mean, I put worse losses on Tua.
No, it's not just on Tua. I mean, but again, if we're talking quarterback elevating the team,
there you go.
To me, again, I'm going to go back to the offense had 2 drives at the end, one to kill the clock, the other one to get into field goal range, and 3 and out, and then the other one they got to the 44-yard line. Not good. But no, I wouldn't pin it specifically on Tua because the defense also collapsed at the end of the game, and there was the bonehead play by Chubb, and there was a blocked field goal. Tua looks identical to Marino scrambling while wearing leg braces in his final year. That's funny,
Stop it.
Well, Omar, that's before your time, and wow,
I saw that. I saw leg braces.
I could outrun Marino in his final year. I mean, he was not moving. Tua's not quick. Not particularly quick.
Do you all expect there to be clean pockets and sharp execution with 4 starting offensive linemen not in the game? I'm not looking for excuse. Is that what you expect? You expect sharp execution with 4 backup offensive linemen in the game?
You asking me, or are you just throwing out there as a general statement?
I just want to answer. If you'd like to answer, you certainly may. Not making excuses. What is your expectation when you're on 4 backup offensive linemen?
Better than we saw tonight. And there were times when it was good in the second half. There were times when there was no issue, and but when it counted, it was not good.
Heavy is the head that wears a crown. I see the Tua criticism. The Tua critics have come out. They've resurfaced. They've resurrected themselves, and they are blaming this loss on Tua. Tua is a zero without Hill.
Harsh, overly harsh.
Ouch. Damn. I don't even know how to respond to that.
Just say overly harsh.
I was on, Albert says, I was unfortunately listening to everyone say that they could not see how the Titans will win this game. We said it here on alldolphins.com, said it on Behind Enemy Lines in QAM pregame. I don't know. I bought in with everybody, and I just thought this was going to be a layup. And any given Sunday, man, any given Sunday, anybody can get you.
No, correct. And then you have combination of injuries, and it wasn't just that Connor Williams went out. Then you had Deshaun Elliott went out. You had, I understand that, but you still had guys leave the game at one point or another. Xavier Howard, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Deshaun Elliott.
Xavier Howard.
Can Brandon Jones stop hitting his own players? Jesus Christ, man.
Damn. Yeah.
He's the one. I mean, thankfully, it's like when I saw the play, it was like, okay, it's like a direct hit, like shoulder or helmet to the thigh of X, so it's going to be all right. But, dude, man, I don't know if it's a lack of body control or flying his body around. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Waddle utilization is crazy. No long balls this season. Dude was a baller before Reek got here and at Bama.
Was he a baller before Reek got here?
No, he had volume. He had volume, but he was averaging like 8 yards a catch. So.
No, yeah. Boy, people have short memories these days.
Correct. Okay, Hawk, this is factually incorrect. Tua psychologically cannot be the final. Oh, in a primetime game. Dude, how many shots has he had? Philly game and tonight? Kind of a small sample, no?
Emerson says this game reminds me of the Mike Tyson quote, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Waddle decked and Hill hobbled with a patchwork O-line was the perfect storm. So we factoring in Waddle decked be a contributing factor for how they performed? I don't know about that.
They were up 27-13. I mean, that's it's to me. This game is about there was like 4:06 left when Mostert scored his second touchdown, and you're up 14.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how bad things have to be the rest of the way for the game to end up the way it did? I mean, it was like, woof.
This is. I'm seeing a lot of Tua is not him. Tua ain't him. This is what happens. No contract for Tua. This is what happens when you lose. This is what happens when you lose. When your quarterback can't deliver in clutch moments when the game is on the line. And heavy is the head that wears the crown, and that's why they pay the quarterbacks the big bucks.
I was going to say heavy is the head who wants a $50 million contract.
So you're right.
Especially when the team already has him under contract for 2024 at $23 million. You can give me that goofy look all you want. I'm spitting facts.
I didn't try to give you a goofy look. I just happened.
But you succeeded. This is a good point here. Tired of fades to hell. Use Claypool already. Preach, Toby. Preach.
Guy's got a big body. It should be used for something. Like I would have sworn to you a month ago he'd at least become a red zone player and contributor. It just isn't happening.
No, that fade to Tyreek makes no sense when Tyreek's like 5'8". I mean, it's like, and it worked in the opener again.
Where are you remember the Adam Gase goal line passing plays that just always worked? Where's some of those?
By the way, speaking of Adam Gase, did you hear that there's a head coach. Oh, Antonio Pierce did you ever hear about that? He wanted to get input as in his growth as an interim head coach, and he brought in some former NFL head coaches to talk to the players and spend some time with him last week, and one of them was Adam Gase. And of course, this is where we should point out they lost 3-0 against Minnesota. Wow, I can't believe I just dissed Adam Gase like that. I like Adam Gase, but the connection is funny. But yeah, so that actually did happen.
Omar, Tua ain't it? He craps his pants in games that matter. Poop. I don't think we need to wait to say Tua is not the future, bro. Everybody. This is. It's like a loss brings out the Tua haters. Like they've been hiding in the woods for this opportunity.
Ghostface again. I want to hear the 2-arm argument after this game. It wasn't a factor. You're correct. He did overthrow Achane. It was all other factors, not his arms. You're correct. And even on the Achane play, as who was it, Dan Orlovsky pointed out, is Achane kind of like hesitated a little bit as he was crossing the Tennessee defender. And had he just kept running, maybe he makes a catch. So no, the issue is not arm strength.
Chris says, I'm sick, but I think McDaniel can use this to galvanize his team. Watching Fangio's defense get carved by a 4-win Titans QB, I guess, was worrying. Kid's got an arm, man. Kid's got an arm. And he's got a first ballot Hall of Fame receiver. You would say DeAndre Hopkins is a first ballot Hall of Fame receiver, right?
Oh, I agree. Absolutely.
Okay.
Dr. McCready, thank you. Poop off topic, but will media ever shift from saying looked at film instead of video? Film hasn't been around for a decade. Just wondering your thoughts.
Doc, you've just changed my my thought process and my vocabulary. I shall now say looked at video.
That's funny.
You're right.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm not sure it was forefront on my mind, but you make a very good point.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Dolphin 5413. Is that like your passcode? Basically said that, O-line and D-backs lost this game. Can't fight against it. Think it's a contributing factor. Oh, come on. Are you serious? Tua's inability to go to a second read is extremely terrifying. Are you serious? Tua's like one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL at scanning the field. Come on, man. Let's not do that.
Is he now? Okay. Wow. This is where I'm not bashing him on this night, but I'm not gonna like sit here and go over.
Come on, Poop. Come on, Poop. Who scans the field better than Tua? Name me a quarterback. Who reads defenses better than Tua?
Come on, man. Really? Come on.
What's all this finger? What you accounting in silence? Name them.
I don't think there's any special about the way he scans the field. A lot of his throws are quick.
They are
his first read.
They are, and a lot of them are pinpoint passes.
That's not what the discussion is. That's not what the discussion is. You want to throw him flowers for scanning the field? Ooh.
Stop it. Stop it.
I had to throw it out there.
Stop it.
There's another one. Watch us get knocked out of the playoffs now. Man, we need in-game adjustments, and Tua needs to throw the ball with one play left. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. One play.
Because Tua needs to throw the ball when there's one play left, like that 4th and 2.
Oh, yeah.
That's a valid point.
No, absolutely. Chuck it anywhere. Absolutely. Yeah, correct. When a sack ends the game, absolutely.
Sack ends the game, man.
What happened?
I said a sack ends the game.
Do we have Toby here?
Jericho says, I hate them Dolphins. That's not a good thing to say, Jericho.
Part of being a fan. Kobe, thank you. Rookie cornerback comes in for Bunting and didn't target him once. Bad play calling. McDaniel is so smart that he's done sometimes. Overthinks plays too much. As someone of similar intellect and intelligence, yeah, it does happen to us every once in a while that we overthink. I'm kidding. Yeah, it can happen. No, absolutely. There's zero question that really smart coaches, creative coaches, sometimes try to get too smart and too cute, without question.
Barris has become a non-existent existence too. That's accurate. I don't think any of the receivers are really playing well right now, except for Tyreek. I'm not going to say that Jalen Waddle is playing well.
Didn't do anything wrong.
Is he playing well?
But what's playing well? Okay, playing well is catching the ball. He's getting open, catching the balls. I'd have to look at the all 22 to see if he got open. Also, Sanders must go. Why? The block wasn't his fault, and he made his other two kicks. Looked like to me, from what I could see from the replay, is they allowed Danico Autry to get between two of the guys up front. But wasn't as big as special teams gaff as what Tennessee did later on. Am I right? Team's trash. Yeah, this is overreaction Monday here.
Oh, overreaction Tuesday, because we're officially in Tuesday. I'm going to be doing the Joe Rose show tomorrow, and I'm sure it's going to be filled with a wonderful amount of overreaction to this loss.
Absolutely. One starter on O-line and two is to be blamed. Idiotic.
I hear where you're coming from, Al Revolution. But it is what it is, man.
Again, if this is good, if the guy's your franchise quarterback moving forward.
Exactly. I knew exactly where Papard was going to go.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Okay, thank you.
You're absolutely 100% right. When you demand $50 million or you request $50 million, heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Heavy is the head that asks for a $50 million contract. Chris Flett, sorry, Omar and Poop. I love this podcast, but some of the fans here are too much for me. I can't believe they follow this team. Chris, that's what part of being a fan is. There's a lot of irrationality, especially after a game like this where, I mean, that was. Yeah.
I think a lot of people were not vocal when the team was winning, or there are some fans who come out only when the team is struggling. That's when they have something to say.
Yep.
That's when they have, or when they lose. That's just the reality of it. I remember, just tell you something personal. I usually and typically hate Twitter the day after losses, because typically angry fans want to use me as a punching bag and want to attack people. And I'm just seem like an easy mark. So I generally try to stay off Twitter the day after games, just because I know I will punch back, unfortunately. And it's been quite pleasant this season because there hasn't been many losses, but I can promise you tomorrow there's going to be all kinds of attacks because, everybody must feel your pain. And I never understood that about social media, but that's where we are in society.
Well, there are a lot of things about social media. Tombstone, this offense has been figured out. 4 elite defenses coming up. How do we make the playoffs at 9-7? Well, first of all, it's impossible to be 9-7 because they're playing 17 games now. So you're actually thinking you're not winning any of the last 4 games, that they're going to finish 9-8? Really? Man, that would be depressing. Listen. Then again, I've seen it before, because in 1993 they were 9-2 and finished 9-7.
Omar, I hate to say it, but this Tua is not it. He's horrible, bro. Bro, he's a top 5 quarterback statistically. But he's horrible. Like, you guys have seen a lot of horrible quarterbacks. You've seen Ryan Tannehill. You've seen Chad Henne. You've seen Josh Rosen. You've seen a lot of horrible quarterbacks. Tua is not horrible. Tua is a very,
John Beck.
Yeah, I kind of don't like to bring up John Beck because that was kind of the basement of quarterbacking.
John Beck, who was projected by anybody and everybody as like a 4th-round pick, and the Dolphins took him in the 2nd. Pratam Choduri, Jonathan Taylor would have made the difference on the second to last drive to kill the clock.
Raheem Mostert's like the 2nd leading rusher in the NFL and leads the NFL in touchdowns scored. Like, what more does the guy have to do?
Yeah, and it was, but that's beside the point, though. Again, if the holes are there, I don't think there was anything created on either of those 2 runs. Which is why I would bring the point that if you were concerned about, maybe the thought process should have been, because they needed a first down to kill it and get the first down however you needed to do it, more so than force Tennessee to use their timeouts outside of the 2-minute warning, because if you're not getting your first down, you're going to give the ball up anyway. So wasn't a big fan of that move particularly. What do we got here?
I have zero confidence the team gets it done in 2 minutes. Omar has been saying Tua is not good enough a lot lately. I have, but I believe he will be. Unfortunately, the evidence is not on my side at the present moment.
You kind of go back and forth on him a little bit, don't you?
What do you mean? No, I've said he hasn't delivered in clutch moments.
No, and then you say he's going to be the quarterback he's destined to be.
He's going because I do believe that it's in there. I just don't understand why it's not coming out in these moments. I thought today would be 147. I thought today would be one of those moments where he put the team on his back and drive them down the field and deliver a field goal that gets them the win, like elite quarterbacks do. And here we are, we taking a sack.
And by the way, no quarterback always delivers in those situations. Again, it's all about the overall body of work, and we'd have to look at how many times Tua has been in a situation where he can get a game-winning drive, and how many times has he delivered, how many times has he not.
Poupard will have that information for you tomorrow. I'm sure he will.
Maybe.
Bad play call and bad play.
Which one, though?
I don't know. There was a lot.
I don't know. The third down play, I don't know if it was a check down, if it was the play call that was designed to go to HN on the swing pass.
That one bothered me.
That has to be a check down. I don't even recall if
that has to be a check down. It was well blocked though.
It wasn't a game. It gained a yard.
Yeah, but it was in the backfield. It would have been negative yardage.
Well, correct.
I mean, there was a blocker there.
But again, I mean, what a horrible play. Can we fire this?
Damn, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Can you bring that back?
You can be Brad Diedrich. Can we fire the special teams coach already?
What did he do?
Block field goal.
Again, what did he do? Did he get out there?
He's in charge of the unit, Omar. I think there were a lot of us who were surprised he was brought back, but they're not going to fire him mid-season. Go ahead, Diedrich.
Tua's a trailer, not a truck. We have to stop fooling ourselves. He's Kirk Cousins. Ouch. Regular season wins when things are perfect, but when you need him, he wets the bed. Levis made me say wow tonight more than he has in 4 years. Okay. Arm queen.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Levis had.
How rude.
Was it Levis or was it DeAndre Hopkins?
Diedrich, or I apologize if I'm not pronouncing correctly. Diedrich, I apologize for Omar's nasty, rude-ass comment there, calling you an arm queen because Levis made some big-time throws.
With his beautiful arm that you arm queens love. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being an arm queen. At least you know who you are. You took offense to it too, I see.
Because I find it condescending like nobody's business.
Hey, if you love a big arm, say you love a big arm.
And if I can have everything else, of course I'd prefer a big arm than the mediocre arm. And by the way, since you're so big on bringing up the QB one loss stat, if you're going to dump on Levis, he's 1-0 against Tua. Even though it's a ridiculous stat, but
and Tua is 0-2 against Tennessee.
That is true.
Tennessee should be his least favorite team to play.
That's a very good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up, but last year, I mean, in the press conference, but I was like, you know what? Let me let that go. That's the Flores era, man. Tennessee got Miami's number. Geraldo asks, "Do I still believe that Tua has it?" Absolutely, I certainly do. Seen it, felt it. It's not showing. It's not, the glow is not there. Look, what's that? What's all this?
Nothing. I'm just rubbing my eyes.
What's all this? Like, yeah.
I'm not seeing it at all, but yes, he has it. That's what makes you a believer. It's almost like you're in a cult, but seeing without believing.
Hey, I have faith.
All right,
I have faith.
Yes, you do.
I have faith.
Yes, you do.
And my Messiah is going to deliver for me.
Go kind of the same
territory
here.
He finally shows it. His collection of duds will outweigh overthrows, clock management, 2 fumbles, 1 play. Hey, man, he's got to play better. You don't think he's going to beat himself up over this loss and over how he performed during this stretch? He is, and he's going to be a better quarterback for it.
Chris, my man, Tua never has a good December, which is when his team needs him the most, year after year after year. I'm tired of making excuses for him, but now we're stuck with him.
I mean, you got choices. You got choices in your life, Chris.
Are you telling Chris you go root for another team if you can't deal with Tua? Is that what you're saying?
No, and I like Chris. I know him on Twitter.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I mean, you got choices, man.
But remember, I wrote about this on alldolphins.com before the month actually started, that he needed to get it done and show he could deliver the goods in December. Fitch 509 asks why Ramsey is not on D-Hop. Very good question.
Because Vic Fangio doesn't believe in shadowing, and now he's proved that by not having a healthy Jalen Ramsey shadow, a big physical wide receiver. And Jalen basically said, yeah, I'm not shadowing on Saturday. And I was just like, okay.
No, it's
what are you guys smoking? Okay, go.
Are we smoking? What happened? Kevin,
I heard that. Oh no, pass. Don't worry about it. Keep moving.
Okay, Kevin, considering our schedule coming up, if you could guess at this moment what seed, if a playoff seed at all, do we land on?
I'm going with 2. I've always been consistent in saying it's going to be 2. Let's hope that it's either 2 or 3. If you're 3, you're in the number 1 bracket, correct?
If you're 3,
yeah.
If you're 3, you can only play 2 in the.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, you play 2, so 4. As long as you're not 4, you should be good, right?
Okay.
I'm asking you.
No. Yeah. Now the thing is, if Buffalo writes itself, you've brought the season finale back into potential play, unless you majorly.
Season finale was always going to be in play. You know that.
The Dolphins are taking care of their business.
Considering our schedule coming up, if you could guess at this moment, okay, we answered that question.
I'm not in the guessing game. Wow. As you can see, a world we go 1-4 in the final. Well, they only have 4 games left now, and end up 1-10-7. Can we miss it? You're not missing the playoffs at 10-7. That's not happening.
Kyle says it's crazy to have a top offense, but it feels like a bottom 10 offense. Am I tripping, or do you feel the way I do?
You're tripping.
You're tripping, Kyle. You're absolutely tripping. Bad game, bad performance, but Kyle, you're tripping. They've been the best offense in the NFL for majority of the season and been smoking people. You're tripping. You're living the fan. You're a fan caught in the moment of disappointment, heartbreak, disaster, loss, derailment.
Man, okay, the synonyms are just rolling over here. I think we had this one from Johnny up already.
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry.
Hold on, I had a good one. You stop putting it in there.
All
The
right.
Groove and Grit Show, feeling like I jinxed today with a question about the most deflated you've ever felt after a Finns game. Absolutely gutted. Yeah, that was a deflating one.
That was pretty bad. If we're gonna think about like bad losses in Dolphins history, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, there's no sugarcoating it. Niner for life. Yeah, CMC is better than Tyreek. Again, look at the name, Niner for life. Well done, 49er fan, but no. Although Christian McCaffrey is a complete baller, though. I lost years of my life watching this game. Yep, I can get that. I will say this: if we remove the complete fandom or involvement from this, for those who did not have a fight, what's the expression? A dog in the fight. It was a pretty good game, actually. It turned out that fourth quarter was completely wild. We have somebody here we need to acknowledge.
Ohio John says, I'm most shocked at how this offense
did that one before again.
We did that one already?
Yes, you keep duplicating.
Oh, gosh. Like, how far down am I?
There you go. Mario, thank you. Enough of the negativity. Fans in the media always overhype and overcorrect after a game, worse than the stock market. Good to be under radar again. Miami will bounce back against the Jets and be ready for D. Which injured players will be back? Go Fins. Thank you, Mario. We think Javon Holland will be back.
Okay, that's a good one.
Who's been practicing?
Robert Hunt is probably a no.
I agree. Connor Williams is a no.
Probably Teron Armstead is a no.
Really? You think he's a no? And I have my concerns about Tyreek. I think Tyreek might be 50-50. Although I know Cheetah don't get hurt.
Cheetah don't get hurt.
But or he could be playing like he did today, which is he's going to be in the lineup and use and give you half a game. Sorry?
And serve as a decoy a lot of times.
Yeah, and give you half a game. Do we believe this? Miami was outcoached big time, not on Tua.
Wow. It's got to be on Tua. Who else is it going to be on?
Oh, want to address this?
Because I got word that of what the injury was or what they suspect the injury is. So there's really, teams doctors can move it around and tell. And
yeah, usually a lot of those catastrophic injuries like that, it's like those Achilles, it's always they know right after the game, and then we'll have an MRI to confirm, but they know. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at questions.
Oh, no, same here.
Omar, did you say anybody can get you? You did say anybody can get you.
Oh, absolutely. You said that many, many times. Many, many, many times.
Wow.
What?
The Eichenberg Express back on track. Shake my head. Hey, listen.
I don't know.
No matter what, Eichenberg was going to be your starter for the remainder of the season. Now he's kind of moving to another position, and we'll see. We'll see how he performs.
Strong arm and takes a hit, never a bad thing. Huh?
What'd you say? Strong
arm and never takes a hit, never a bad thing. Does this mean we're talking about Papa smoking something? Is that supposed to be me? That because I have my eyes beady and little and beady. It's because I'm old and I have naturally small eyes, and I'm tired. So that could be it. This one I don't understand here. 20 million. Ha 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 ha. Who's that? Is he talking about Tua?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Robert Jones, by the way, saw him a couple of times. Very, very nice on the run blocking. Not saw him also a couple of times. Not quite as good in the pass protection department. We're looking here. Pathetic performance. Pathetic's kind of strong. But no extension.
I'm blaming Hard Knocks, which is how did Hard Knocks contribute to the loss? Everybody's blaming everything on everybody. Everybody's upset. Everybody's disappointed. And your fans, you have the right to be. It's a disappointing loss. It's a tough loss for a franchise that, you know, I think we got high on the hog. Everybody expected every win to be a blowout. And, you know, I fell prey to it as well. I finally got to the point where I said and didn't say anybody could get you. Well, today I said, nope, no chance that you're not going to get this one. No chance that you're not going to win. And
I grabbed you and dragged you into my boat, and we all sank because I again, the Dolphins have been so good all year, just taking care of being inferior.
Yeah, I
yes,
usually don't fall prey to peer pressure, but yeah,
yeah.
I bought into no way this team can get you. And no, sometimes it just takes one injury or critical plays or critical turnovers, give a team hope, and they can take care of business.
I mean, if you can tell by watching the game that the Dolphins are a much better team than Tennessee, I mean, I don't know what to say except that it didn't play out that way. Those two teams can play again in Miami. You know, 9 more times.
I don't know if I would agree with that. I really think that their physicality gave Miami some issues, and it makes me think that the Baltimore game might not go how you want it to. Because as we all know, Baltimore plays with a physicality and a punch you in the mouth, Debo style toughness, and Tennessee was Baltimore light with less talent. And
Baltimore without talent. Sorry. No, with limited talent. They have some players. I mean, and here's the crazy part too is, I mean, this is Tennessee without Jeffrey Simmons, without their best defensive player.
Yeah. No doubt about it. And having traded their safety away, and it's crazy.
This is the one I want to bring up. Deeper, thank you. Opinion. How do you feel when he needs to scramble outside the pocket? Personally, I feel like he's not capable of making those plays. He didn't make it. He had a scramble for a first down.
He had a couple scramble plays.
I don't think that overall that's an issue. I'm not ready to say that.
Dolphins need a red zone weapon, according to S.J. Moores. I'm not going to disagree with him, but except
they're number 1 in the NFL in red zone percentage. No, I mean, they're not as good in goal to go. And if you notice that the times when they pounded with the running game in goal to go situations, they scored. And then the other one, they tried to get cute with throws over the top, and that didn't work.
What QB we get in this offseason? I heard Kirk Cousins available. Ryan Tannehill's available. You could probably get Justin Fields if you'd like. Kyler Murray's probably going to be on the trade block. Hey, you want to upgrade over Tua?
If you can't realize how invested they are in that dude, it would have to be, I mean, some kind of massive collapse down the stretch.
I'm sure Jimmy Garoppolo can be had if you'd like. Yeah.
McDaniel connection. There you go.
Yeah. I mean,
Omar, stop playing. This is this is the serious answer. The serious answer is the Dolphins are massively invested into. It would have to go south, some kind of bad near the end of the.
I'm just presenting the fans their options. Poop.
Somebody brought up Kaepernick. Yeah, that ship has sailed. That ship has long sailed. Big Penix energy. That's I like the pun. You're still reading questions. What was the run average? You have that stat? You have the game book open, Omar?
Yeah, I do. What's up?
Okay. C-Dub is asking what the run average was tonight.
Okay, let me get it for him.
Somebody already answered for us. How about that?
Damn, what was it?
Mostert 4.6, Chan 6.7.
Interesting.
Run the ball. Here's the problem, though. Who was it? We said that somebody said run the ball in all caps. The problem is when they needed to run the ball on their next to last drive to kill the clock, they got 1 yard and 2 yards on first and second down, and they were in the 3rd and 7 where they had to throw.
They were 5.1 rushing the whole game. It's just interesting, but just wasn't good enough. Was not good enough. Everything.
Good question, Mike. Did the Dolphins miss Jerome Baker tonight? I would say I didn't see anywhere where Duke Riley was a major problem, to be honest with you.
No. Okay. Oh, sorry.
No, it was just Chris was pointing out the two leads the NFL in passing yards. Okay. That's
all right. McDaniel's goofy ASS can't motivate players in moments of adversity, and Fangio's in the booth when he needs to be on the field to push defense to greatness. Okay. Fangio chooses to be in the booth.
They had one bad game. They had one bad game.
Yeah, I think this is typical fan overreaction. It is what it is, and everybody has a right to their opinion. Does it change your opinion about whether they're a Super Bowl contending team? Doesn't change my opinion. I think this is something that will make them build a resolve and make them stronger and make them better. Or it could lead to a 4-game losing streak.
That's the beauty of it. We'll find. We have to see what we'll find out.
Definitely.
I think we addressed this already. Dennis Chubb on sportsmanlike conduct. Thoughts? I thought it was ridiculous. Not in terms of the call itself. That's an automatic. You throw your helmet on the field, you're going to get flagged. I thought it was.
I am so behind.
It was Chubb letting his frustration get the best of him, and he should know better.
I apologize, folks. I'm super behind on all of these chats because it's hard to keep up when you have to read. Anyway.
Johnny, why didn't we wear the all whites? Kidding, or am I? You don't sound like you're kidding. That's kind of an automatic when they play night games. That's their default mode is to go with the aqua jersey, unless they're going to do the throwbacks, which they will do for the Dallas game on December 24th.
This is a good question, and I never thought about it. Take out the Broncos' inflated stats. Are they really the number one offense?
I looked it up one time. I believe they still would be, but very closely. I'll have to recheck. But
you got to recalibrate. Yeah. But yes, I believe that they would still be. They've been consistently humming offensively. On a positive note, Johnny Pope asks, who impressed you tonight? I know you mentioned Robert Jones. I thought Kendall Lamb did relatively well for what his role was. Obviously, Christian Wilkins is killing it from a sack standpoint.
Steeler had a good game.
Mm-hmm. That's about what Raheem Mostert. I gotta respect what Raheem continues to contribute. There was a point in the game where I thought he suffered an ankle injury. Those things are always scary. Oh man, now it's my fault. Omar sold us hope and we believed him.
Yeah. We have that power.
Yeah. Liam has improved as had a rough go, didn't he? Not his greatest game. Not his greatest game. Not his greatest game at all. You think the defense missed Baker? No.
No, we have that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm behind. No. What it is? People ask the same question over and over again, and why do you think we? Oh, okay.
That's two people. We've been here, so we haven't heard the press conferences. That's two people who put out there that Tyreek's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. Is that a guess, or is somebody reporting this?
Okay.
Is somebody?
All right. I'd like to go watch the press conferences. I appreciate everybody for being on the chat, and thank you for continuing to watch and continue to support us. And obviously, it's a tough loss, but lick your wounds. Get your mind focused, get your mind right, because the Jets are on Sunday.
Still a 2-game lead in the AFC, still the number 2 seed in the AFC. So it's a bad loss, worse because of the way it happened and against the opponent. But again, it's not like the season's over.
Yeah. So we will be back tomorrow on alldolphins.com. You can find our work on alldolphins.com for free, as you can see. Oops, can't take that question down. And we will be back tomorrow with another podcast, kind of recapping where this team is moving forward, heading into a short week, preparing for the New York Jets. On that note, tip your cat poop. See you guys.